Look closely at your receipts, your subscription charges, or even your utility bills, and you might notice something subtle but important. Prices aren't just going up once a year anymore. They're creeping upward every few months. Smaller increases, delivered more frequently. This isn't a coincidence. Across retail, manufacturing, logistics, software, and even professional services, more U.S. companies are switching from annual price increases to quarterly price adjustments. And this shift is rewriting how businesses manage costs, communicate with customers, and protect their margins in 2026. To understand why this is happening, you have to look at how unstable the cost landscape has become. For decades, companies set prices annually. It was predictable, it matched fiscal planning, and most industries could absorb small fluctuations in fuel, materials, or labor without needing constant adjustments. But the last few years shattered that stability. Volatile shipping rates, unpredictable commodity prices, fluctuating labor costs, and rapidly changing demand patterns have made it nearly impossible for companies to set prices just once a year. Businesses now operate in an environment where their costs can shift significantly every 90 days. Quarterly price adjustments are simply a way to keep up. One of the biggest drivers behind the shift is cost volatility. Everything from plastics to paper to aluminum to electronics components swings in price much faster than before. Freight rates shift month to month. Energy and utility costs bounce with seasonal demands. Insurance premiums increase unpredictably. When costs change constantly, companies can't afford to wait 12 months to update pricing. Quarterly adjustments create a buffer that prevents margins from collapsing. Another major factor is inflation-driven consumer sensitivity. You might think frequent price changes would anger customers. But interestingly, businesses are finding the opposite. Smaller, more frequent increases are less noticeable and less jarring than one big annual jump. A 4% increase once a year feels heavier than a 1% increase each quarter. Quarterly adjustments let companies maintain profitability without shocking their customer base. This trend is especially strong in industries with tight margins, like food service, home goods, transportation, and subscription services. In categories where costs change fast, waiting a full year to adjust pricing creates financial strain. Smaller quarterly updates are easier for customers to digest and easier for companies to justify. Companies are also shifting to quarterly adjustments because it matches today's data-driven environment. Businesses now have real-time dashboards showing input costs, demand trends, and customer behavior. They don't need to rely on year-old forecasting. With data analytics, they can respond quickly, adjust surgically, and avoid overreacting to long-term uncertainty. Quarterly updates align with this level of granularity. Another major driver is the rise of dynamic pricing. Airlines, hotels, rideshare companies, and digital platforms pioneered the idea that prices can change constantly. Consumers are increasingly accustomed to variable pricing, especially in digital-first industries. This has made it easier for more traditional businesses, like consumer goods, utilities, and B2B suppliers, to adopt a quarterly cadence without facing backlash. Quarterly pricing also helps businesses manage contractual relationships more effectively. In B2B sectors, manufacturing, packaging, logistics, wholesale, companies often operate under long-term contracts where annual increases once caused tense negotiations. Switching to quarterly adjustments allows both sides to anchor pricing to measurable changes in market conditions. It reduces disputes because adjustments are smaller and more frequent. Another reason companies are adopting quarterly adjustments is risk management. When businesses change prices once a year, they have to guess what the next 12 months will look like. If they underprice, they take a big financial hit. If they overprice, they lose customers. Quarterly pricing reduces forecasting risk dramatically. Companies can adapt 4 times a year, which helps them stay competitive while protecting margins. Software and subscription companies are embracing this model too, but for a different reason. With subscription fatigue rising, customers push back hard against big annual price jumps. Small quarterly increases feel more proportional to new features, rising support costs, or infrastructure updates. It positions the brand as transparent and aligned with ongoing improvements, rather than sudden one-time hikes. One of the lesser-known forces behind quarterly adjustments is the supply chain reshuffle happening nationwide. Many companies now source from multiple suppliers, some domestic, some international, each with different cost structures. When supply chains diversify, price stability decreases. Quarterly pricing helps businesses pass along fluctuating supply chain costs without constantly renegotiating with customers. Another subtle factor is the shift in consumer psychology. After years of volatile prices, many Americans expect change. Businesses are tapping into that expectation. Instead of resisting price movement, they are normalizing it. Quarterly adjustments make price movement feel routine, predictable, and manageable. Meanwhile, competitors adopting quarterly pricing create industry-wide pressure. No company wants to be the only one holding prices flat for a full year, while everyone else adjusts quarterly. It puts them at a competitive disadvantage. So once one major player in a sector switches, others often follow. Looking ahead, this trend is likely to grow even stronger. We'll see. More automated pricing models tied to costs. Clearer communication explaining adjustments. Pricing tiers updated seasonally. Quarterly fee changes in service industries. Retail brands using dynamic and regional price updates. Subscription models with micro adjustments instead of big annual hikes. Some companies will even integrate AI-driven cost forecasting that helps determine quarter-to-quarter price shifts more precisely. But the most important insight behind this shift is simple. Annual pricing belongs to a world that no longer exists. Costs no longer stay stable for 12 months. Supply chains no longer operate predictably for full years. Consumer expectations no longer align with once-a-year changes. Quarterly price adjustments reflect a new economic reality, one where businesses must be flexible, responsive, and data-driven to survive. For companies, it's about protecting margins. For customers, it's about smaller, smoother price changes. And for the U.S. market overall, it's a sign of how quickly the fundamentals of pricing are evolving. Quarterly adjustments aren't a temporary trend. They're becoming the new normal, one small, steady change at a time.